It's like you're going to have to quarterback.
All right, donks, let's do this. Hi, everybody. Luke Thomas here. This is Danny Segura, and that's Iceman Mindenhall. I am, this is After the Beat. I didn't want this. This degenerate on the end asked me, he was like, I really wish we had some whiskey.
When
and I was
say
like,
that I am thirsty, it does not mean I want water.
and I was like, do you know who you work with? So, I actually keep this around.
Proper 12.
No. God damn, where is it?
This is really good theater here.
Hold on. I got it. Hang on. Look, we're on a time crunch here.
There it is.
No, that's not my.
Vodka and a watermelon.
Here we go.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
Look at that.
Little Jim Beam.
Son.
It's right next to the Pepto-Bismol on your bed.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. You understand? All right. Anyway, we have taken. Oh, yeah, here we go. Look at that. Jim Beam for when you're sad about your entire existence. All right. In any event, we have taken your comments and your questions and everything else, and we have put them together. We have a bunch of these ready for you. I will pass this down. If you'd like to have some, you may. While you are doing that, let's hear the first question. Let's see it, rather. All right, Danny, while he's doing that, how about this? What's the point of having Dana on stage at the press conferences when he never answers any questions directed at him? He was today very much like, yeah, we'll see what happens. You saw that as like inspiring about the future. I saw that as him being like, yeah, your days are numbered, donks.
Yeah, I saw it as we'll see what happens. I mean, Dana is always a guy that like you ask him like, oh, what's next for this guy? And he's like, well, let's see the first fight. Like he never likes to go too far ahead and sort of say anything. But I don't know. I mean, there's some things that he will answer. There's certain things that he won't answer. You can get some answers to some more basic questions, and also he's kind of there to. He's a presence. First of all, you need an official up there. I feel like in any press conference.
Actually, you have to have one by rule.
Yeah, and also just to sort of guide the conversation, because sometimes he's like, all right, this is enough. All right, And sort of moderate the conversation. So I do think it's not pointless to have him up there.
Okay. What about you, Chuck? I actually get more out of him than I do most of the fighters, to be honest.
I mean, and it's always been that way, right? Like, it's always been Dana, at the moments you can ask Dana a question, or whatever. He used to, the bigger difference is he used to, talk a lot more, he communicate a lot more. He didn't mind going off topic, even in those situations. I feel like the big difference now is he just doesn't care to. And maybe there's a reason for that.
That's true.
He just doesn't, he doesn't want to, for whatever reason.
No, you know what? I will largely agree with that, but I thought when he was talking about Colby, he was like, I don't even know what Colby says. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Okay, but the way he plays it, like, I don't even know what's happening.
There's a lot of that.
And even then, when he says very little, there's still some insight into
100%.
Like, he was like, well, look at these guys up here. Like, they know that when the opportunity knocks, you got to take a fight.
Right.
And just those little sentences lets you know kind of like how the conversations went in the back and kind of his reasoning. So.
And the whole thing is, the train keeps rolling. Either get on or wait for
his
the next
favorite
one.
thing forever has always been, I don't even know who that is, or I don't even know what that's about. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. It's fun. Yeah. It has remained fun. That's one of the great charms of Dana White, is just his shrug your shoulders when you don't want to answer it.
Yeah, it's from Ghostbusters 2. It's like the buzzing of flies to him. All right, next. Okay, Chuck, for you, what is the optimal seating area to purchase a ticket for when going to a live UFC? I have my own views on this, but what do you think? It's actually,
what's the best seat in the house?
Hold on. A lot of times we have weird questions like, what's your favorite pudding when you're in space? I don't know, but this one is actually a pretty good question.
So the question is, where's the best seat? Where's the best place to sit?
There we go.
So that in that case, it would just be if you have unlimited money, cage side. I think he's saying.
Although that's not necessarily true.
Okay, but let's say you got like a VIP seating or something. That's obviously pretty good. I think what he's saying is bang for your buck. Like, not that there's a limit, but like at some point, there might be a cheaper and better alternative.
Depending on the arena. If there's an arena where it's fairly compact, and we know that they hold them in small venues and bigger venues, but if it's a small enough venue and you can get the upper deck really close to the lip, like the overhang, those are good seats. I've had those before, and you've always got the benefit of the Jumbotron, wherever that is, and then you have a bird's eye view of the fights. To me, that's what I like. Yeah. But I've also been down maybe, where you're 20 rows off of it, and you're close enough there to see a lot of what's going on, especially in the ground game and stuff like that, without having to resort to the to the Jumbotron. But those are usually expensive seats. So for the bang for the buck, I would say to get up a little higher, but try to, just high enough where you're basically able to look in and still see everything, but you can look up at that Jumbotron and catch the stuff going on the ground.
I've only purchased tickets for a UFC event once. Like I only went once as a fan. That was actually to see Demetrius Johnson fight Ian McCall the second time in Sunrise, Florida.
Wow.
At the BB&T
Wow.
I
Center.
remember that.
Where is
Yeah.
Sunrise, Florida?
Like 10 minutes away from Fort Lauderdale, about 15, and like 30 from Miami.
The home of crystal meth.
Not really, but
Not Miami, but Sunrise.
So I think the best seats, because I've sat also in the media row, which is, on the ground floor, and like it looks nice, and like you can see fighters up close, which is cool, but then you see right through the cage, right? And sometimes the poles get in the way, so you don't see much of the action. If you get seats like 5 or 6 rows above the ground floor, you get a nice view because you can still see through the cage, but you can also kind of peek over it. So you can kind of see the fight without the fence, and you get like a nice view. And you're also not hurting your neck by like looking up the screen. So it's kind of like a nice level.
Yeah, my rule on it is
Those are usually not too expensive.
my rule is typically I like if you go into a T-Mobile or MSG venue where it's really big, this is hard to calibrate. But I remember when UFC had I paid for tickets once when I saw Lausanne versus Florian. That was at the First Bank Center in Denver.
Yeah, Broomfield.
Broomfield. Well, we're right outside Denver.
Yeah.
And when you have those like 10,000, 12,000 seaters, I always say get eye level with the top of the cage.
Yeah.
Right there.
And there's
is
one of the
perfect.
smaller arenas. I've been in that arena, and that's one of the smaller arenas I was talking about. Like those, I feel like you really can't go wrong. If you're
I always
elevated at
tell
all.
people the smaller UFC shows.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not have all the big, John Joneses and Brock Lesnar's.
Yeah.
But the bang for your buck is great. The intimacy is great. I think it's better to be quite honest with you.
I think too close is worse.
Yeah.
Like if you're too close, if you're within distance where Khabib Nurmagomedov can fly off and kick you, you're too close.
Yeah.
But if you're at press row, sometimes you just spend the most of your time looking up or at the jumbotrons.
I got in a shouting match with a guy at Shamrock versus Kimbo. Yeah. Because Bellator, what they do is, I don't know if they still do this, but they did when I was there. They put VIP right in front of media row.
Yeah, they do that.
And again, no one's going to cry
time
for
I was
media. Okay, fine, but I got a job to do. I have to be able to see it. And what they do is, you'll get like, for example, so all of Ken's, I don't know if it was his family, but it was his support group or whatever. So Ken started bodying Kimbo, remember that? And his whole crew stood up. Well, then now I have to stand up. And now the people behind me are like, yo, man, can you sit? Which I understand. So I had to ask them, like, yo, can you guys please sit? And they're like, we paid for these seats. And I go, right, take a seat, sir, since you paid for the seat. Anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, they caught it on video, me and this guy arguing. Yeah. Well, I mean,
It is frustrating, and I've been in there with Bellator as well because they usually do. They have like the family or somebody of the faction is there,
Right in
a
front.
friend, yes, and they stand up.
I know, which is like, I mean, I appreciate the seat, I really do.
Probably
yeah,
you don't
it's-
get if you're sitting on the bleachers,
Yeah. Also,
Next time
UFC
you
does.
go to a Bellator, they'll put you up top then.
Yeah, well, also UFC doesn't do that. They don't put if you're on media. There might be several media rows, but if you're on the first row of media, there's no one in front of you. People are just walking by.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
something to consider. Next. Okay, now that Luke discovered hot ones, what are the panel's favorite hot sauce and why? Now, hang on a second on this one before you start groaning. Have you guys seen this show, Hot Ones?
Nope. I haven't.
Oh my God, I recently
What is
discovered
it?
it. So here's the deal. There's this guy, this is the premise of the show. It's changed a little bit over time, but it's basically the same. It's a YouTube show. This guy, the host, his name is Sean, sits across from a celebrity. Could be a musician, comedian, and we're talking.
I think I've seen it.
We're talking
Yeah.
A-listers. Kevin Hart, Key and Peele.
Was Wiz Khalifa on it?
Yes, Wiz Khalifa was
I
on
think
it.
I saw that.
So like,
Okay, I have seen this
you've
once.
definitely
I've
seen it. You've at least seen a
okay.
thumbnail
Yes.
on YouTube. And the premise is they have to eat 10 wings, okay? And each wing, the wings start out totally mild.
Yeah.
And they get increasingly spicy to the point at the end where they're like absurdly hot.
Yeah.
And it's this amazing show because for two reasons. One, the interviewer is phenomenal. He does such a great job with prep, unusual questions. It's fun. He kind of gets it. He works with the guests. Dude, he is amazingly prepped, okay? I watched a podcast where he talked about his prep. He goes through podcasts and reads books and like finds old articles from like their local newspaper when they were in high school and shit. Like amazing stuff, right? Then it's like a Japanese game show where like no one wins. Everyone just gets punished physically.
It's just how long until you lose. How long can you last before you
Yeah.
lose?
Well, so anyway, DJ Khaled can only make it through 3 wings.
Sick.
It's a
Yeah,
totally ignoble effort. But most guys make it through. And in the end, when they get these hot wings, it disarms the entire interview. It pulls all the pretension out of the room. And these guys kind of bond together. If you've not seen Hot Ones,
right.
I cannot recommend it more.
check it out.
It's free on YouTube. Like, what do you have to lose? It's free on YouTube.
I think I saw clips on like social media. I haven't seen like a full.
The best one I've seen was Bill Burr did a really good one recently. And then, what was another good one? I liked Key and Peele. I always like Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Anyway, hot sauces. Do we
mean,
like hot sauces?
I
Do we
love
like
hot
spicy
sauces.
food?
I love hot sauces, and I'm almost like I'm trying to think of the ones I don't like because I pretty much agree with any hot sauce.
That's because you haven't had the novelty ones that they use in the show.
Yeah, I probably haven't. I probably have not had like the ridiculous,
Like Scoville
Yeah,
level,
yeah.
a million.
Over time there's always that guy with the weird bottle of something where you're like, you got to try this, and then you burn your mouth off. Like I've done that. But and for the most part, as long as it doesn't compromise my your taste buds, essentially, I'm pretty down with it.
So the first 3 or 4 on the show are pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Everything else is just singe your mouth.
I'm not big into hot sauces.
What?
More of a no. I mean, I'll use ají for example.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a kick.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a kick, but nothing like crazy hot. I've noticed like Americans really like really spicy stuff.
Mexicans too.
Mexicans too, yeah. In Colombia, not really, not all that much. I do really like the Tabasco chipotle sauce. That is really good.
The one that's like a browner version. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good, but that's not really spicy. I
So
guess.
I shouted out Pepper Palace. Shouts to Pepper Palace. They are not what do you call a novelty? They're specialists in all things heat. So that can be rubs, sauces, marinades, jellies, you name it. They make everything, and then they also sell everyone else's. And I shouted them out. So they sent me a gift box. This was years ago, and in it are half the things they use on Hot Ones. So I had this stuff before Hot Ones ever had. One of which is I still have it. I still use it. It's called 100% Pain.
God.
It's a tough sled. It's a
Damn.
tough sled. It is.
That's not fun, man. Like that just ruins your food.
There are ways to mitigate it. One is by being a man.
Right.
I'm teasing. Two is like, for example, there are ways to like mix in, different oils or dairies to soften it. But I like all the hot sauces you like, and I like 1 degree more.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of punishment, but I don't go to the point where I'm like, well, you see these guys, and dude, they're like hallucinating and pouring sweat.
I have to check that out.
I like a little bit of a runny nose.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand that. By the way, I did a piece on Chuck Liddell maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago where I went to San Luis Obispo in his house, and his whole refrigerator door was hot sauce, different hot sauce, just like what you're talking about, every kind. And I was like, you like hot sauce, huh? And he was like, yeah, and he starts just opening them and like dumping them in his mouth. Just one after the other.
Wow.
Damn, look.
Just dumping them in his mouth.
Liddell.
And some of them were really hot. Like I tried a couple of them and I was like, that's
Wow,
ridiculous.
man.
So you called me the Iceman. I was like pointing out the real Iceman is like.
Here's the more important
he is-
question. Why would you put hot sauces in a fridge?
I don't know. He had his whole door.
Doesn't that make-
the whole
All right,
thing.
so I own the Tabasco chipotle one. I put it in the fridge.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I should.
Do you not realize if you left it out, it would stay good for an extraordinarily long time?
Man, I never looked into it, I guess. I mean, you put ketchup in the fridge.
We're learning a lot. here.
I do not. No.
Oh, really?
Nope.
I just
It's
consider it a
filled-
sauce and...
Do you buy Heinz?
Yeah.
So if you buy the organic kind, I can understand it. If you buy Heinz, it is filled
Actually,
with preservatives.
I'm not sure which one I have. I'm pretty
Mustard,
sure
I don't put in there. No.
it's Heinz. That's interesting.
Milk, yes.
Wait, milk's supposed to go in the fridge?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm just saying. You guys are like, hey, here's my car battery. Let me put my iron in here. Here's my dog.
I don't know, I just
my
put
dog
the-
goes in the fridge.
Oh,
I'm just saying. Americans put a lot of stuff in their fridge.
Yeah.
That you remember, my mom was from Lebanon, so we grew up with like, I don't know, slightly different sensibilities. And her argument was always like, do you not realize what's in here? It literally does not need refrigeration. Like, put the things in the refrigerator that need refrigeration.
yeah.
I don't know. Hold on. I think I'm pretty sure, like, those ketchup says keep refrigerated after opening. No?
For
sure.
for donks, it's not real.
Pretty sure, man. I feel like you're eating bad
I
ketchup.
grew up never doing that and never once got sick. Never once. It's for
something to
donks.
remember.
It's also like, they put warnings for, the lowest common denominator on there because some folks will open like, I'm going to have this ketchup, and then 8 years later they haven't finished their ketchup. But most of us eat like normal humans and, cycle through our things in a relatively important timeline. You guys, I'm right about this. I'm
No,
right about this.
I agree with you.
Danny's like, I'm gonna put my shoes in the fridge. Got to keep those cold.
I mean, if it says in the instructions, keep refrigerated, I'm refrigerated.
Following instructions.
Keep my phone in there. Put my phone in the fridge. All right, next. What's the most underrated fight of this weekend's card? Great. We kind of sort of already answered that. I think the Neil versus
Hey,
Bilal fight.
We did forget about a fight.
Which one?
Gregor Gillespie versus
Great point. Yancy Medeiros, great point. What do you like about it?
Yancy, for some reason, like he's giving me like this Zen vibe. Like he's like almost like he knows something that we don't. Like he's just like, yeah, man, I'm back at 155, and he sort of changed his life around.
Did he give you the "I'm a gorilla" speech?
No. Well, I didn't get to talk to him, but I did see media about him.
Did he give you the gorilla speech?
No.
He gave me the gorilla
He's like
speech.
training in the jungle, right?
He goes, "I'm a gorilla training in the jungle, and now I'm in this the concrete jungle or something like that."
These guys.
He's amazing.
Well, let me tell you what Gillespie said about Medeiros.
What do you say?
Nothing. He won't talk about
Oh,
it.
right, yeah.
all right.
Forgot about that.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah,
we
but-
kind of know what he's going to do.
Outside
Attempt to-
outside of the media stuff, Gillespie is a must-watch
Is it
fight.
Gillespie? Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce it?
Gillespie. Yeah.
okay.
Gregor Gillespie, yeah.
So that should be interesting. Also, Glover Teixeira's on that card.
He is on that card, and he's
Carl Robertson.
he's my age. I asked Teixeira because I get a little bored at these media things because it's always like you don't ever get the real version of the guy or the lady, whoever. Sometimes you do if they're like willing to play that, but a lot of times these guys are just willing to like hit a clock.
Through the time.
And I asked him, I was like, "Are you the guy at parties who sings?" I asked him this. He was like, "No." And I'm like, "Are you the one that dances?" He's like, "No." He goes, "I am the party storyteller." Apparently Glover says his favorite thing to do is,
Weird.
he goes, "I'll have Jameson." He goes, "And now proper 12." He told me that.
Okay.
And he goes, "I have more stories than anybody. I'm the guy at the party people come to spin a yarn." Yeah. I would love to hear
I would
some of
never
this
have thought that, to be honest.
Dude, can you imagine? He's trained everywhere.
Yeah, dude, he's an old school.
And he was old
He
school guy too.
his gym is 5 minutes from my house.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In Connecticut?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He moved that
Bring
thread.
him
I
out
forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
a bottle of proper 12.
I have to do that now that he's going to
what's
tell me
up.
a
Now that
story.
you know
Yeah,
he
yeah.
knows
Now that he
stories.
can tell me a story.
Man in the Hat has a feature. Man in the Hat has a
He
feature.
told me to come
right?
train.
Story
Like, you don't
time
wanna
with
see
Glover
that.
Teixeira.
Dude, and also he said, look, I'm 39 headed to 40. If I'm going to be something in the sport, it's got to be now.
Yeah.
So he was very. I didn't even ask him about it. He just sort of.
I mean, that guy has been so close so many times, so
And he's beaten, and he's still beating good
Yeah.
guys. He beat Serkinov and Jared Cannonier.
I know.
Jared Cannonier just went down to middleweight and smashed through David Branch. Like, it's
Yep.
amazing.
Oh, right, that's true. I forgot about that.
Huh? So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, next. Boys, what is your favorite aspect of your job when it comes to covering MMA professionally? Who wants that first?
well,
What is your favorite aspect?
I enjoy just writing. I like just doing columns and things like that. Getting up basically and knowing what you want to say and doing that. That's still the most fun I have in this job. That's no joke. I really do. I enjoy that.
I would say it is a different job. Sometimes I kind of forget that. And I feel like a lot of people's jobs are kind of the same thing over and over every week. With MMA, I mean, the news cycle in MMA, we know this, it's insane. So I feel like we're always doing something different. Whether it's covering an event or just news breaking or even doing this show or something, we're always mixing it up. So that's fun. Keeps you on your toes.
Speaking of hot ones and Bill Burr, he made a point. He got his helicopter license. And someone asked him, he was like, this is Bill Burr talking. Bill Burr said he had done really poorly in school. But so he was like afraid, am I going to fail? Because flying a helicopter involves a degree of physics and mathematics, I think. And he thought he would do poorly, and then it turns out he did really well. And he goes, my major lesson there was like, if I'm into the subject, turns out that I can apply myself much better than I thought I could. I grew up where academics was a priority. I don't quite share that same history, but I developed a life around it, around MMA, and I like continuously trying to develop a level of expertise about something. I'm not suggesting I've attained it. I just mean there's a certain. You guys ever seen the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
No.
So it's a documentary on Netflix. There's this dude. He's got like 2 or 3 Michelin stars. All he does is make sushi, and he's made sushi all of his life, and he's teaching his sons how to make sushi. And he makes it not the same piece every time, but it's sort of like not many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the key is to get it absolutely perfect, and he does it day after day after day. They say it's the if not the best sushi in Tokyo, some of the best. And his whole argument is life is about this. It is about waking up every day and not treating it as monotony, treating it as a chase for perfection.
Yeah.
And that sort of had a big impact on me. It's like, I'm not suggesting I'm Jiro. That's not what I meant. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But that I would like to believe that I could have the same, I don't treat it like a treadmill. I treat it like a rope pull to the top of it. And I had so many diverse interests growing up that I've focused on something and made a life around it. To me, is the best part.
The guy pouring Jim Beam saying it's not like Jiro,
right.
so.
Yeah, well, I'm not as, Jiro doesn't know anything about this rot gut. Next, please. As it's subscriber-based, what will we use to gauge the success of an ESPN event in terms of viewership? Now, isn't that a good question? The answer is I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I
either.
don't know.
I don't even.
If they don't release the number, it's like Netflix put out a bunch of, Netflix was like, 40 million morons liked Bird Box.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we know stupid people like Bird Box, and there's a whole lot of them.
Still haven't seen it.
You know what you have missed?
Nothing.
Nothing. You have missed.
Keep the blindfold on. Just
You
like
have missed low-hanging cinematic fruit for idiots. Is what you have missed. All right.
Sounds like it's something you might want.
Yeah, something you might love.
Yeah, not now that you mentioned that, I'll look into it.
No, here's the point, though. They only told us that I think it was like nearly 50 million people watched it opening weekend. But what does it mean to watch a movie on Netflix? Like 70%,
Yeah.
10%? Like unless they tell us, we don't really know.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer
I don't know how
that.
that'll work either.
Google searches.
Yep.
I guess. We
Yeah,
will
that's a tough
we
one.
will have the prelims
Yeah.
on linear TV, at least that the 4-fight portion. So in this case, culminating with
Yeah.
Hernandez and Cerrone. But I
I guess there's no real way to gauge the success. Like, I mean, unless they put out the numbers. But
Which, by the way, I think they kind of like having that
Yeah.
freedom to be like, oh, what were the ratings? None of your business.
We did way better than you think.
Yeah, well, we did amazing. Oh yeah, how amazing? It's a secret.
yeah.
Rather not say.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be a great question. I don't know the answer to that. We're done? One more. All right, last one. Here we go. If Reebok leave the UFC alone, what would the next step be? In other words, right back to letting fighters having sponsors and making money, or look for another big brand uniform.
Especially now they're on UFC, on ESPN. I don't see them letting them just go back to the types of sponsors that were going on. Even though they were taxing, there was that whole thing going on before the Reebok deal. I just can't imagine that they'd ever go back to that again. Being like a NASCAR for these guys,
I've never bought
human
into
billboards.
that. I never bought into I feel like maybe there's some truth to that in the sense of the type of sponsors that they were getting, like getting, Condom Depot, or like, certain sponsors. But like, I don't know, at the same time, there's been so many like uprising within the UFC that if they do decide that route, it's kind of like, letting them win one in some sort of way. Like, okay, like you got your sponsors back, you can make more money that
I'd be
way.
shocked.
I think they
I
might.
don't know.
I think they might go the PFL route. Did you guys watch PFL?
Yeah.
Where what they did
Yeah.
was they gave them uniforms, but they had a series of ads they could put on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the ads were approved. Like you couldn't get, Cam Soda on there.
Right.
But they let them do that, and they didn't seem to complain.
Yeah.
They seemed to think it was fine. I suspect if they do something like that, where you're still, let's say it's a UFC uniform.
Yeah.
Let's say, because man, if any brand that does its due diligence is going to know that Reebok got put through the ringer on that one. So if they can't get another apparel brand, they might just, because remember they were making UFC apparel before this, they still do. Make all of that, and then you can put Black Rifle Coffee or something on it.
Actually, when the PFL came out with that, I thought that was pretty smart because in a way you're cleaning up the sport, but at the same time letting the fighters have their own freedom. So
What they should do is have the fighters union negotiate. Oh wait.
Here we go.
Oh wait.
I just would like anything that doesn't seem so homogenized, because it seemed like it took some of the personality out of the,
it did. 100%.
the walkouts and everything else. So I would like them to at least let them have some creativity on their walkouts, like not wear a kit. Maybe they wear the trunks.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but I'd like to allow them to have some creativity on their walkouts.
I would love it where we could have something what like Deontay Wilder wore out for the fight with Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Where it's like Mad Max meets Liberace
Yes.
or something. I don't know what that was, but it was unique.
I mean, there's all
and
kinds of
different.
cool stuff. Sokuju used to wear the mask.
Predator mask, yeah.
I mean, there's been cool things like that, but you realize none of that will happen, under the current way they have it. So
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So that's it for us. You're headed to the weigh-ins tomorrow, yeah?
Yep, I gotta wake up early.
Yep. So that's where are those? Downtown? Same place?
Downtown. Yeah, same place, the hotel.
All right. So he'll be
Hope
there for
everybody
that.
makes it.
Huh?
Hope everybody makes weight.
Yeah.
There's some big question marks on there.
Yeah. Jesus. I don't even. Don't
That's
you?
gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Don't you jinx it. It's gonna be something.
I
But
think I'll be live streaming it most likely, so stay tuned for that.
so yeah, obviously you keep it locked to MMA fighting. We got one way or the other. We're gonna keep you up to date on social media, on YouTube, on every kinds of place. Really appreciate all you guys have been doing in terms of your viewership. We are out here putting out that stuff for you, and you guys are liking it, so that's a good thing.